Hello YouTube, back again for another round of debatable, or should I say controversial videos. Now, I know there are some that will agree or disagree. Everyone has that right, and it would be shallow-minded and utterly stupid of me to resent anyone that choose not to regard or accept what is said. I wouldn't presume to think everybody would anyway, but I feel for anybody pertaining to what they believe. I respect the beliefs of others. I don't have to accept it to the extent where it would change or in any way constrain my beliefs, and I wouldn't dare to presume that I have the right to constrain other people's belief. But I do believe that beliefs, all types of beliefs, will in one point or another be challenged. We are defined by what we believe. We are defined by what we think. We are defined by the sum total of our experiences. And experiences will either strengthen your personal, deeply rooted beliefs, or it will weaken your deeply rooted beliefs. But every belief will be challenged. It will be challenged by the forces of injustice. It'll be challenged by the people that we come in contact with. It'll be challenged by forces that we couldn't even begin to wrap our minds around. But nevertheless, they will be challenged. That's why it is essentially wise for a person to have an open mind. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with what you encounter or what you hear, but to not have an open-minded position whereby you could critically, and you must do that, you must critically analyze what you hear, what you take in. Even idle conversation should be critically analyzed, because there are nuggets of truth in every given encounter we make with people. You learn something new, you learn something constructive, or you learn that through them experiences it create the condition for you to realign what you think. It create the condition where you can examine, critically examine the deeply held beliefs that define who you are. Some people choose to lay claim, which is their right. Some people choose to lay claim to their beliefs, and their beliefs become so rigidly, or should I say, so firmly grounded to the extent where they are not receptive to whatever other beliefs that they will encounter. I don't think that bodes well for that individual, because you have to have an open mind. You have to use the seldom used objective thinking that will enable you to see things in ways that you never even begin to imagine. You know, the powers of observation, the powers of verbal communication is more widespread now than it ever has been. The internet offers avenues of thought that heretofore wouldn't have been accessible to so many minds, so many avenues of thought, so many nuggets of intelligence, you know, the creativity, the innovative observational skills that exist over the internet, and not just localized to the internet, but in all walks of life. It should be examined. You should be willing to utilize your mind the way the early pioneers utilized their desire to see that which was never seen before, to be the first to see that which no eyes of their particular society had ever seen. Now, some believe that the eyes that witnessed them sights was eyes that was evilly utilized to take from one that was there from the beginning. Now, I think it's inherently wrong for anyone to take that which belongs to another for himself, and utilizing the abilities and gifts to do so will ultimately do more harm to the one that utilized that than the one to whom it is utilized against. But we must utilize objective thinking when we encounter situations and circumstances that compel us to take an attentive stance, because when you look at the repercussions for those that don't do so, there are abilities that have become so dormant in the populace that danger could be staring them right in the face and they not see it. They have become so desensitized to that which is clearly seen, to the extent where they are not even perceptibly analytical in anything they do. And politics play a part in that being the case. Religion play a part in that being the case. The complacency that feeds off of the entertainment industry plays a part in that. Television plays a part in that. Video games, which I am guilty of utilizing myself, play a part in that. All societal forms of entertainment should not engulf our minds to the extent where we are disarmed of objective thinking. Animal that endeavors to find food will become food to the predatory animal if he does not utilize the objective observational abilities that he has. We are living in a predatory society. The environment is hostile. It's hostile to those that are not aware of their surroundings. It is hostile to those that take for granted the fact that they were able to see the first day of the week without incident. They were able to see the second day of the week without incident. They were able to see the third day of the week without incident. Now, that particular mode of thinking has resulted in people being planted in the cemetery that didn't see Monday. People who were planted in the cemetery that didn't see the end of the year. People who will be planted in the cemetery in between now and the end of this week simply because they felt that just because they experienced days, weeks, months without incident, that they have been lured into a false sense of security. It is amazing to the extreme to me how people can witness and hear accounts of people being killed, brutally murdered. People who had the same mode of domesticated complacency, covered, thinking that just because they escape any type of incident or any type of confrontation, that there is a streak of that they have established within their own way of thinking that they are safely secure in the certainty of seeing the end of the week. Never take anything for granted. Be aware of your surroundings. Just because you don't think you need to be aware of your surroundings don't mean that you don't have to be aware of your surroundings. There are steps that you can take to ensure that you have a degree, no matter how small you think it might be, but you have a degree of safety by observing your surroundings, being aware of what's going on around you, being aware of who happen to be around you. Now, I didn't have any idea that I was going in this direction, but nothing is by happenstance. There's a reason and a purpose for everything that is done. But if we utilize them simple but effective steps, we can probably, with a degree of effectiveness, provide a safer, at least marginally safer atmosphere for our children and ourselves. Now, they have a neighborhood watch where those that are designated to do so take an objective, observational stance to protect not only their property but the property of their neighbors. I think that's highly commendable and essentially effective in the wisdom that is utilized to do so. But you have to use that which was given to you. Utilize it to do that which is essentially necessary in these times and circumstances that we live in.